The first time I walked into a specialty coffee shop, I mistook it as pageantry. It was expensive because it was fancy coffee from a chic coffee bar prepared by hip people. I scoffed at the price. Years later, I now know why those coffees carry their price tags. My name is Brendan, and I work for Relevant Roasters, a local coffee roaster. I spend my days sourcing, sample roasting, blending, tasting, and marketing specialty coffee. This evening, I'm going to tell you why your coffee costs or should cost $5 or more, and I'm not talking about pumpkin spice lattes. I'm talking about simple brewed coffee. The purveyors of these $5, $6, $8, sometimes $10 cups of coffee are part of what's known as third wave coffee. Third wave has emerged as a pursuit of specialty coffee and taken coffee to the level of connoisseurship. Roasters and baristas understand how phenomenal coffee can be and treat their craft as an art. Their goal is to let the natural characteristics of their coffee shine. There's a big competitiveness in this movement, and because of this, roasters try to find the best coffee in the world. While ethics may not have been their original goal, the result is an incredibly traceable product, often down to the specific farm of origin. While what roasters and baristas do is commendable, it isn't the primary reason their coffee carries such a high value. I think the reason it's hard for people to understand why someone would pay so much for a cup of coffee is that it's viewed as a commodity. Companies like Folgers, with coffee that has consistently tasted the same for decades, has helped to cultivate this image. Like a Coca-Cola or a Hershey bar, it's the same every single time. More like wine, coffee is grown on farms and has an incredible range and quality. The highest quality is considered specialty coffee. What we call the coffee bean is actually the seed of the coffee tree, which grows in various places around the world. The best is often in very difficult places to access. The majority of the world's coffee is picked by hand as beans or coffee fruit on the tree all ripen at different rates. After coffee has been harvested, it must undergo various time-extensive procedures before it's ready to be sold. Overcoming the production cost and making a profit is a challenge for producers of both specialty and non-specialty coffee alike. Like many other businesses, labor is often a farm's largest expense. Despite its relatively large cost, most farm workers still live below the poverty line. Ironically, many wouldn't be able to afford a cup of their own coffee on a day's wage. Farm workers are paid for the weight they collect, which encourages them to work quickly. This is a conundrum for the specialty coffee producer, as carefully selecting only the most ripe fruit is key to cup quality. Specialty producers must incentivize their workers to carefully choose only the most ripe coffee cherries in order to have good coffee. In order to pay their workers a premium, they must be compensated for their higher quality product. Even if workers are paid a premium, there's still very little money to be had in working on a coffee farm. Many producers in developing countries are facing labor shortages. Many farms in Central America rely on migrant farmers who travel from country to country to harvest coffee. Even when once producers go to sell their coffee, they continue to face challenges. While producers who follow specialty coffee protocol will receive a higher than the typical commodity price for their coffee, the rate they receive will still be based on an ever-fluctuating international coffee market. This makes their business unstable because they can't predict return on investment. On top of all of this, there's an environmental pressure on coffee growing. By year 2050, there's an estimated 50% decrease in land suitable for growing coffee, further challenging coffee producers to adapt. Despite specialty coffee's growth in the US and the added revenue for growing specialty grade coffee, many producers are turning towards more profitable agricultural sectors or abandoning farming altogether. Those of us who work in specialty coffee tell the story of coffee to honor those who work so hard to produce it. If we want to live in a world where we get to wake up with decent coffee, we need people to see a value in growing that coffee. This will only happen if they're compensated and can actually make money doing it. Thank you.